Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over the controls on Lumina and just the brief overview. So let's start with how we work with it and the workflow that we feel is the best. So the first control what we would do is would be the input gain. So making sure that the correct level is going into the plugin so the right amount of processing is applied. So above the input gain, you see a small LED. Now, when you push the input gain up, this will start to flicker blue. Now, blue means that you're in the right area. If it turns red, it means it's too hot, so you need to back off. So when it starts turning blue, flickering blue, that means you're in around about the right area. Now, auto gain is turned on by default. For the reason that when you're pushing the input, it doesn't get louder. So if you turn the auto gain off, be aware that obviously the amount of input, we've put 6.9 dBs here, your sound will get 6.9 dBs louder. So I would suggest keeping the auto gain on at all times. So once you have the levels set, what you want to do is start adjusting the depth knob, and this will introduce the compression in the 3 bands, and you will start seeing the bands come down from the top of the display. Now, if you're compressing the mids too much and you want to back off on the mids, or you want to back off on the highs a little bit, all you need to do is press the fine tune button and your free sliders will drop down, and this gives you a little bit more control over the amount of compression that's applied to each band. So if you want to adjust the level of compression on the mids, say, and you just pull to the left and that'll apply less compression, or to the right to apply more compression. Okay, the next setting is the mode feature. So you've got 4 modes: glue, clean, warm, and slam. Now within these modes, you have predetermined threshold and ratio settings for each of the 3 bands. So it's about really just flicking through and see what one sounds best for the sound that you're working on. Obviously, you can always go back in to fine tune any of them. They all do have their own character to them. So yeah, it's just about finding the right one. So the next feature would be the parallel punch. Now, the parallel punch is a combination of 3 different processes under the hood: EQ, saturation, and parallel compression. So you turn on the lows or the highs, or both, and turn up the amount slider, and that will add those 3 processes to your sound. So obviously adding low punch in the low end, and then high sparkle in the high end. So obviously for things like kicks, you just want the low engaged, and that will add some nice punch to your kick. Or things like top end percussion, hats, rides. If you want them to cut through the mix more, just engage the highs and turn up the amount, and that'll bring your hats out. The next feature is the clarity. So this is to clean up any sound that you're working on, and you have 3 bands. So you have the low mid, mid, and high mid, and adjusting the amount slider will obviously clean up any of those areas. So the next feature is the grip and recovery, and that is the attack and release. Now, we've named it grip and recovery really for beginners, to help them understand attack and release a little bit more, because we know compression settings when we're beginning or just starting can be a little bit daunting and hard to understand. So hopefully grip and recovery explains them a little bit better. So you have 4 settings fast, medium, smooth, slow and smooth in the grip, and then recovery, fast, medium, slow, and auto. So we've made it just a multiple choice, so you don't have to dial in attack and release settings. It's just quicker to work that way, and you will find the result that you want from these settings that we've pre-configured. The auto mode is obviously like auto release, and that just will depend on what audio source that it's receiving, so it will automatically change. And then the drive is a form of saturation, and we've designed it to make your sound that you're working on obviously sound nicer, better, less harsh, and push it forward slightly in the mix. So the next feature would be, as well as the compression, you can also add expansion. So to add the expansion, it's slightly hidden, but you can see the low, mid, and high labels at the bottom. They have little arrows up and down next to it. So if you just click around there, hold down, and just push up, that will add your expansion for that band. Now, if you want to A/B to find out what it sounds like with the expansion on and off, all you need to do is double click the band, and that will turn it off, and then double click again to turn it back on. This way you can actually hear what it's doing to the sound, rather than having to A/B the whole plugin by turning the bypass on and off. So the next feature is save presets, which is self-explanatory really. Just add your preset name and save, and that will get saved to the preset menu here at the bottom. We've designed 30 presets covering all different elements, everything you need really, but do remember that these are starting points, so you probably will need to tweak them. So whatever one you choose, you may need to just adjust the settings obviously to fit your sound. Okay, next is the undo button. Self-explanatory really. And then the next feature is the A/B. So the way that this works is if you press copy, and then this will copy this preset to B, and then if you adjust B and then flick between the two to just see what one sounds better. And lastly, the ×2 button isn't a ×2 oversampling, which some people might think. It's actually ×2 of the compression and expansion. So this will double the processing of the compression and expansion when it's applied. So some sounds you might want to compress even harder. So that's what that's for. And then obviously you can always go into the fine tune and adjust if it's too much. Okay, so that is everything. In the next video, we're going to be working on a melody and showing you how we would use it on a melody.